Well, they say that I can't take care of myself. That's why I'm in this hospital. There's been many times in my life that I've not only taken care of myself, I've taken care of other people too. I think I'm about to get my blood pressure taken, but that was, I don't know how long, maybe from 5 to 6 or 7 years, maybe a little less than I lived there. And Mike was there for a number of years. He was still there when I left. And he used to sit in the sofa under the lamp. I was on the couch and tell me the weirdest stories about the Marines, and I'm not even sure if he was in the Marines. Franklin was, he claimed this girl was his niece, and then she started bringing her friends over to Franklin's apartment. There were about 5 or 6 of them all together, teenage girls. And I'm not saying anything, not saying anything, but Mike and Franklin became very good friends. And Mike had a son and a stepson and a wife. And for some reason, you look at Mike and you look at his wife, and I don't know if they really were. I don't know. It just didn't seem like a likely couple. And the stepson helped me put my VCR and DVD player, or maybe it was just a VCR on the TV. This was in the days when DVDs were just starting to come out, just starting. It was mostly still VHS tapes they were selling in stores. And there also was someone who I've heard mentioned on TV before who was involved, but I never met her. Unless I did, I didn't know what Psycho B is. It's an abbreviation for another word. Mike was getting the legal substances from her. I guess I kind of let him in my apartment out of, I don't know, but I guess fear, I don't know, I guess. And that the girl was with him for a while, Franklin. And then after Franklin said what he said one time, she was with me all the time. And Jehovah's Witnesses were starting to come in too. There was 3 Jehovah's Witnesses, and one of them said to me that the Holy Spirit was not part of the Trinity. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to get preachy or anything, but I can't agree with that. So I asked them to stop coming unless they could just not talk about that particular subject. And I think that Mike was putting something on her that is kind of hard, makes it kind of hard for you to care about someone as much as you should. It's like a perfume or something. And so he had the bow and arrow in his bedroom, and he showed me it. And he said something about killing rabbits that was almost as bad as what he said about the first Vietnam kill. And these kinds of things, again, I'd never heard. I'd heard one person talk that way when I was, by my own fault, homeless. I couldn't stay with my mother or my brother, but I was homeless out of stubbornness because I didn't want to be told by anybody what to do. But that was a long time ago, before this happened. And now one day Mike comes to my apartment. He's dressed in war paint. He's got his face full of war paint. And he was always telling me if how a woman was getting hurt in the street, he would beat the heck out of the guy that was doing it. And also, I had a habit, a very bad habit, of drinking coffee back then. I'm kind of telling this in a non-linear way. I'm just thinking of I remember just about everything. I'm trying to put it in order. He would take the coffee out of my cot. I would just hope that he wouldn't see me coming down with the cot. And the girl, so she started staying with me all the time. And I think there were other things besides being woken up in the middle of the night, but it's hard to take care of someone who's had an even harder life than you have had. It's just, it wears on you after a while. She was with me for about 4 months, and Mike had a computer. One dog that didn't disappear that Mike had was a beagle. And I have to say right off the top that I'm still not sure he was Peter Particular, but he was noticed by someone else, or I saw it on the internet. He did have that twitch and that snort, which he couldn't hide. And it would go off about every 2 or 3 minutes sometimes. They were putting things in order. So Mike moved in after the maintenance lady moved out, and he was just the strangest person I ever met. I mean, sometimes it would seem there was a lot of good in him. And it was strange. It was because sometimes he seemed so evil, and I don't know, something very strange. And they had a computer in their house, and later on, when I called someone, I won't say, well, you called an agency, the computer all of a sudden went into the incinerator. So I don't know what that means exactly, if they knew what I was talking about in my apartment, or what was going on exactly, the whole thing. There's certain things I'll never know. But so the girl was with me for about 4 months, and she told me things I won't repeat here, because it's her business. And Franklin got a cat after a while, and one thing about him was that I used his name again. I don't know. I guess that's all right. Now, the worst thing that happened in that whole time, it was the dog's disappearance was one, but and I didn't know if I was coming back alive from this, but he led me out into the woods, and he showed me a campsite with a tent, and then there was this tar pin over the ground. He pulled back the tar pin, and there was like a 6 to 9 feet drop right down out in the middle of the woods. And I did make it back, and he kept asking me to go out there again, which I would have had to have been a fool to go out there. And he asked me to play Russian roulette with him, which reminds me of someone else, from the stories you hear. He had that beagle, and hold on, I gotta